No matter what you're studying or what level you're studying it at, you'll be called on to make comparisons in your coursework. This could be in the form of a compare and contrast essay in a writing class, which is the context most of you are probably viewing this in. It could be a lab report. It could be a form of business proposal where you're looking at a couple different business ideas together. The principle is the same across all of these types of writing. You're going to put two or more things side by side, and you're going to highlight their similarities and differences. You're going to do that in order to build an argument or an analysis. So I want to give you an example of how to do this today. I want to try to break it down into a few relatively easy to follow steps. As you can probably tell, I've got a bit of a cold today. And you probably know when you have a cold, the best thing to do is to eat something spicy. So for this video, we're going to look at two distinct spicy condiments. We're going to look at my favorite type of hot sauce. Some of you may be familiar with this. Maybe not. Not a lot of people in DC, at least, make use of this. So this is molho picante. It's a Portuguese hot sauce. And then we're going to look at some guacamole salsa, everyone's favorite. So we're going to compare these two together. And I hope this will be helpful. You'll be able to apply the same approach to other comparisons, whether you're comparing characters in a short story or whether you're comparing maybe different business ideas. So the first thing we have to do, no matter the type of comparison, we need to find a clear basis or bases for comparison. So if you're thinking about these two items, what might you compare? So you might want to compare, say, the color. You can tell they have distinct colors. Taste, that's going to be really important, particularly if you're deciding what you want to put on a particular dish. Consistency, maybe. You're going to use sauce for something different than you'll use something that's maybe a little thicker. And potentially heat. So these are going to be our bases for comparison. We're going to use these four elements: color, taste, consistency, and heat. And so because it's a basis for comparison, we are going to make sure that we talk about each of these elements for each of our items of comparison. So once we've done that, what we need to do is qualify or quantify each of these elements. So if you were writing about characters in short stories, you do this by identifying your bases for comparison, your character traits, and then you'd find evidence from the text to show how they embody those. If you were doing this for business writing, you'd find your bases for comparison, and then you go into your research on those companies, and you might find data or statistics to compare across the two companies. In this case, we're looking at hot sauces. So we're going to talk about each element. So color, this is like a red-orange. I know there's a little glare from my window, so you can't perfectly see that, but it's a little bit more orange than your typical red pepper. And this is quite clearly green. There's no doubt about that. So we've got color. We then want to think about consistency. So as you can see, this is a salsa. It's a little thicker. This is a sauce, clearly a hot sauce. So it's very liquidy, but you'll notice sort of clinging to the bottle a little bit. So it's not entirely liquid. It's not like water. That would hit the consistency. Taste. I don't know how you'd quantify this. It sort of tastes green, right? It's spicy. It's very fatty. You can see there's some chunks of cilantro in there. This is much more vinegary. So it's not one of those really peppery hot sauces. There's a pepper flavor, but there's a lot of vinegar too. And it's relatively spicy. And that takes us to heat. These are both spicy. I think that goes without saying. I don't want to try to quantify either of them. If you're into hot sauces, though, you know there's a whole scale of peppers, so you could compare them. Once we've done that, we're going to use what we've discussed to draw a conclusion of some sort. So based on all of these items, you need to think critically and decide what does this enable me to say? So again, if you're looking at two businesses, you might say one has a better business model, or you might say they have two distinct business models. If you're looking at two characters in short stories, you might highlight how different personality traits lead them to do different things or have different results. Or you might even say they're different people, very different, but their outcomes are similar. For hot sauce, we want to think maybe about how we'd use it on a meal. So the conclusion that I might want to draw, both of these are great for making food taste better. But the vinegariness of this makes it really perfect for seafood and shellfish. It's spicy, but it's not overpoweringly spicy, and that vinegar tastes really good with shrimp, let's say. Now, on the other hand, I might look at this and say, geez, this would really overpower shrimp, but this would be great with beef, right? Beef can really stand up to the taste. So that might be my conclusion. These hot sauces are both great for making food spicier, but this is a little more likely to overpower the food. So I would only want to use this with something that already has a very strong taste. So I hope you found this helpful. As you can see, I'm sniffling even more than I was at the beginning of this video. So I'm going to go make myself some spicy food. I'm going to make use of this salsa. I hope you found this video helpful when you need to think about making effective comparisons.